Genesis chapter 2. For 4, we have the note, Hey, Zayira. And in verse 22, we have the note, Qamatz Wum Lura. In verse 25, we have the note, Dagush Acher Shurak. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. And on the 7th day God ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the 7th day from all his work which he had made. Now, a lot of mythologies don't have God resting. And God blessed the 7th day and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which God created and made. And there's this idea of evolution, or fashioning or something with the created after the 6th day in some mythologies. These are the generations of the heavens and the earth when they were created, in the day that God as noun and verb, divinity, made the earth and the heavens. And let us not forget that Yahweh does not translate as Lord, and that's a reference to all of divinity, the powers in the plural. And no plant of the field was yet on earth, and no herb of the field had yet grown, for that the Lord, God as noun and verb, divinity, had not caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was not a man to till the ground, but there went up a mist from the earth, and watered the whole face of the ground. And God as noun and verb, divinity, formed man of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. And God as noun and verb, divinity, planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed, and out of the ground made God as noun and verb, divinity, to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food, the tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And a river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from thence it was parted, and became into 4 heads. The name of the first is Bashan. That is it which compasseth the whole land of Havilah, where there is gold, and the gold of that land is good. There is bdellium and the onyx stone. And the name of the second river is Gihon. The same it is that compasseth the whole land of Ethiopia. Now, Ethiopia comes from the term for the Greek term Ethiopia, or something like that, burnt-faced. So the people south of Egypt were pretty much all that dark of skin, right? And the name of the third river is Hiddekel. That is it which goeth towards the east of Assyria. And while we do have Ashur being a Persian kingdom, someone's told me that he's convinced the Gog and Magog, the Hyperborean people were included in this reference. And the 4th river is Euphrates, One of the things about this is that it's thought that the whole world was encompassed by 4 rivers or 7 rivers or that sort of thing. Now, the Nile had branches in the past that it doesn't nowadays, and some of the other ones, but and God as a noun and verb, divinity, took the man and put him into the garden of Eden to till it and to keep it. And God as a noun and verb, divinity, commanded the man, saying, Of every tree of the garden thou mayest eat freely, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it, for in the day that thou eatest thereof thou shalt surely die. And God as a noun and verb, divinity, said, It is not good that man should be alone, and I shall make him an help suitable for him. And out of the ground God as a noun and verb formed every beast of the field and every fowl of the air, and brought them unto Adam to see what he would call them. To put it in a different way of speaking, you have the whole shaman mythology of the primordial human or even tribe founder having the ability to name everything. And whatsoever Adam called every living creature, that was the name thereof. And Adam gave names to all the cattle, and of the fowl of the air, and every beast of the field. But for Adam there was not found an help suitable for him. And God as noun and verb, divinity, caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs, and closed the flesh up instead thereof. And the rib which God as noun and verb, divinity, had taken from man, made he a woman, and brought her unto the man. And Adam said, This is now bone of my bones, and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. And they were both naked, the man and his wife, and were not ashamed. Because, of course, we should not be ashamed of nakedness, but, see, that's the word we're looking at for shame. And besht is an unfortunate abbreviation for the Baal Shem Tov, because it means shame. Of course, in Hebrew, things mean differently than they do in Aramea, or the biblical Hebrew, as it's called. So, Weeklu, Hushmim, Wachartz, Wakal, Spam, Wikal, Alhim, Bium, Hashbiai, Malaktu, Asher, Asha, Wishpat, Bium, Hashbiai, Makal, Malaktu, Asher, Asha, Wiberk, Alhim at Yum, Hashbiai, Wikatash, Atu Ki Bu, Shabbat, Makal, Malaktu, Asher Bra Alhim, Lashut, Alham, Tuludut, Hashmim, Bachartz, Bahbram, Bium, Ashut, Yahweh, Alhim, Arts, Washmim, Wakal, Sheech, Hashda, Thurm, Yahweh, Bartz, Wakal, Ashab, Hashda, Thurm, Yitzmach, Ki La, Hemthir, Yahweh Alhim, Al-Hartz, Wadam Ain, labed at hadma wad yala من خرز وشقة at kul pani hadma ويتسر يخوى الخيم at hadam upper من hadma ويبتش bapu neshmet chiyim wihi hadam lunpush chah witha yahweh alhim gun baden mabdam wishim shim at hadam asher yitzer wheatsmuch yahweh alhim من hadmah kol ats nchmed lemarah wathub lemakal wats hetchiyim patuk hagun wats hadat thub wura wanher yatsa madan la shakut at hagun wamshim yiprad wahya larbah rashim shim hatchid pishun wa husbab at kul arts hatuilah asher shim hezhub wazhub hearts hechwa thub shim habadlich waban Hashem Wishim Hanhar Hashni Gitchun Hawa Hathubab at Kul Arts Kush Wishim Hanhar Hashli Shi Hadkal Hawa Hahlak Qadmat Ashur Wahnahar Herbi Hawa Pert Wikach Yahweh Alhim at Hadam We Nachu Bagdan Adan Labda Wabda Wal Shimra Witzu Yahweh Alhim Al Hadam Lamer Makal Atz Hagan Akal Takal Wamats Hadat Thub Ra La Takal Memnu Ki Biyum Aklak Mumnu Mut Tamut Wiamer Yahweh Elhim La Thub Hiud Hadam Labdu Asha Lu Azer Ken Gadu Witzer Yahweh Elohim Man Hatama Kul Cheat Hashda Wat Kul Aup Hashmim Weba Al Hadam Laraut Mah Yakra Lu Wakul Asher Yakra Lu Hadam Napush Cha Wa Shamu Wikra Hadam Shamut Lakul Hub Hama Wal Aup Hashmim Wal Kul Cheat Hashda Wal Adam La Matzah Azer Kan Gadu Weepol Yahweh Alhim Terdama Al Hadam Wiyishin Wikach Achet Mats Latyu We Sugar Busher Catch Tanah Weben Yahweh Alhim At Hetzla Asher Bakach Men Hadam Asha Weebah Al Hadam Wiamer Hadam Zat Hepam Atzim Matzmi Wabshur Mabshri Zat Yakra Asha Ki Mesh Lakcha Zat Alkan Yazib Aish At Abu Wat Amu Woodbuck Bachtu Wahyu Abshur Achid Wihyu Shiniham Arumim Hadam Washtu Wallah It Batshu. And a word that we see repeatedly, and what we're going over here, is Aish. And Aish means an individual, someone who consents, good, great, mighty, steward, worthy, and, such things. Manly, but, it goes beyond the gender thing. Because it comes from that root, entity, flame, firing, foundation. And we have that name of God in the Bible, the Ashi, as it, goes out, you could say. And to take something else, we have the Assyrians. But we have meanings of patron. We have meanings of joy, honesty, blessedness, personal space or territorial.